Spencer's Network is a non-denominational para-church ministry with the mission to get women to rise up to their purpose, their God-given purpose. In TKIM, we do so much in purpose, and we have a simple message which says that you were created by God on purpose and for a purpose. We have each other accountable. We hold each other accountable to actualizing our God-given purpose, and we do that through fellowship. About the King Talks. So the King Talk started as us just setting aside a particular day just to rant about things that affect us as Christians, things that affect us in pursuit of our purpose, just general stuff. And then we saw that there was a need for us to not just make it a platform rant within ourselves, we thought to take it global to impact the world, and thereby in the long run, win souls and capture souls for God and help people to pursue their God-given purpose. And that's why we started this TKIM talk. So usually we have this talk every quarter in a year. So approximately we have it 4 times in a year, 1 time per quarter. So for 2020, this is our first edition of the King Talks. And then what we'll be talking about today is learning to leverage. Basically, we'll be discussing on how to leverage education as a pathway to career advancement. And with me on today's episode, we have 3 speakers. Actually, we're supposed to have 4 speakers, but I'm sure our last speaker is going to join in shortly. We have on the call, so if I mention your name after a bit about you, start introducing you, you can just say hi so that everybody knows who I just introduced. So on the call, we have Oluwaseyi Otegbayo. Oluwaseyi Otegbayo is a master's student of international economics and finance, and she works as an investor relations in Germany. Shay, could you say hi to us?
Hello, everyone.
Hello. Welcome.
Thank you.
Also on the call, we have Blessing Okoran. She's a graduate of the 2018 International MBA class of ESEC School of Management and Finance. She's a digital consultant, a speaker, a writer, and also a book writing consultant. Blessing, could you say hi to us?
Hello, everyone. Good afternoon. Happy to be here. Thank you.
Thank you for joining us.
Thank
Okay,
you.
also on the call is Oluwatobiloba Olaitan. Oluwatobiloba Olaitan is a chartered accountant with over 5 years experience in the banking industry. Thank you for joining us, Tobi. Could you say hi to us?
Hello, everyone. It's good to be here.
Okay. Also to join us soon is Olufisayo Abiodun. Olufisayo Abiodun is an MBA candidate with a concentration in entrepreneurship at Arizona State University, USA. And she's also the creative director of Bracy Abbey Clothing. So when she comes in,
She's here.
Oh, she's
I've been on the call. Hi.
Oh,
hi, everyone. Nice to be here.
Okay. Welcome. Okay. Okay, so without further ado, just go right into today's discussion. So first of all, I'd like to ask each and every one of you that will be anchoring this event with me, what motivated your decision to, we're talking about further education. So I'm going to be asking, what motivated your decision to further your education apart from you having a BSc in whatever you studied as a first degree? What prompted you to go further with your education? Blessing, let's start with you.
Okay, thank you. I'm just going to feel at home because literally I feel at home. So permit me to laugh and talk and just, I'm glad that you called it a talk and not like a conference. So I'm going to cross my legs and get into this. I just came here to just literally. Yeah. So thank you, Ogechi. Thank you. Thank you guys thank you for the invitation. It's really great to be here. And to just go and like chat, basically like answer the question, what motivated me to go for my MBA program? It was to be sincere, it was the job I was doing that motivated me to like do a career transition. Like I was working in PwC, I was working in audit. I love numbers, but I love words more than I love numbers. So I needed a break. I needed to like just like transition like into another career path. And I thought to myself, I'm like, so what's the next step? What can release me from this place I'm at right now? So I then thought, you know what, it's time to go for this master's program that I always wanted to go for after school. And this time around, I was like, it should just be an MBA because that way I already had a 3 years experience, and it would be a launch towards being a business professional without having to break the career like banks or anything like so. It was it was motivated by distress, a career distress, and it was also motivated by the dream of having an MBA. So those were the two things. Well, it was first the career distress I was in that motivated me to further my education.
Okay, so why France? And why the school of your
Hey,
choice?
so that's another story. I was even just saying that one of my friends, I'm like, sure, they asked me why France, like the way good. So France was a bold step, if I can use that word. So first, it was my brother was here in France, so I never even thought about France, even though that he was already here in France, like doing his master's program. So he told me, you know what, child is school in France, and so it was first. My brother was here; he had gone ahead, so it was easy to also come along. And then second of all, I think it was the idea of learning a second language. It was interesting. I was like, oh yeah, it's a good opportunity to learn French, and I mean, why not? The French will say pourquoi pas? Like, why not? Let's just see what is going on. Let's go there. So it was first. My brother was here, so I kind of had like a step in, and then I wanted to learn a second language, which was a bold step. I mean, why would I want to learn French? But that was why I chose France, to be honest.
Okay, thank you very much. Okay,
You're
so
welcome.
Toby, you recently got chartered. Could you just answer that question in relation to your new certification? Hi, Toby.
Hello,
Hello,
can you
Toby,
hear
can you
me?
hear me? Yes, I can hear you.
You're muted, Toby.
It's unmuted now, right? Can you hear
Yes.
me?
Yes.
Okay, okay. So, okay, chatted. That was like long time coming, but anyway, so okay, I studied accounting in school, right? I've always loved
Yeah.
accounting. I've always wanted to be in the finance accounting space. Actually, my career goal, or which I think is changing already, is to be chief executive officer, sorry, chief financial officer rather, of a multinational or a global firm, a global company. So after school, after getting a job as a young graduate, of course, having my professional certification was top on my list even right from when I was in school. And after school, to write ICANN, you have to be a graduate, or even if you start in school, you have to start from the foundation and all that. But after school, you just start from the intermediate. So when I started working after a year, which that's when you have access to take your leave and stuff, it was the next thing I needed to do because to really advance in accounting field, you have to be a chartered accountant. And like right now, safe is a no-brainer. So that was what motivated me to going for my ICANN because
Okay.
it was the next
Thank
step
you very much.
to advancing my career. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Kisaya, could you answer that question too?
Yeah, sure. So for me, I like the vulnerability with Essen. I like how she said it was the career distress. Um, So mine was a mix of different things. Um, when I was leaving CU, I went to Cavendish University, and in 2013, I kind of had an idea of things I wanted to do over the next couple of years, and an MBA was one of them. But I got carried away with working and making money and doing business. So I just like abandoned that. And then it got to a time in my work process that I wasn't entirely sure that I wasn't entirely sure that I could picture a future just where I was working, right? I was looking at the people ahead of me, and I thought to myself, no, I don't want to be these people. I don't think I'm in the right place, right? And not because of their attitude, but just because of the work. Like it was a great place, great people. But then the career focus was in tax consulting, and I'd done that for 5 years. And I wasn't sure I just wanted to like end up being a tax consultant for life, right? So I thought the MBA was a great opportunity for me to pivot into something different, something new. And for me, I've been busy all my life. Okay, not all my life, right? But from university, I started a business and then I was working as well. So I was always occupied with things and I felt very choked, right? Even though people were saying, oh, you're doing well, you're doing this, I like this, but I felt choked. And then I just needed a new experience. Like I needed a new experience in terms of like location, in terms of people, in terms of the things that I'm doing. And then I looked back in my plan. I went back, like actually like had my brother go home to like look for my journals that I wrote when I was like in school. And then I remember that I needed to do MBA. Like, okay, I think this is the time. I think this is the time to do this. So that's one of the reasons that motivated my move to do my MBA. And also, I noticed that most of the women that I admire, um, that I look up to as mentors, reading their stories and their biographies, you'd see that they had some form of postgraduate education or the other, and like they were not just local degrees, right? They got them internationally. So I just thought that was just okay. It's time to go. So those were my motivating factors.
Okay, so why the school of your choice? Why Arizona and why USA?
Okay, why the USA? Okay, so my sister was already here. She had an MBA like 3 years before, and I knew a couple of people that were in the US. So I was already open to the kind of opportunities that were available here. I wasn't considering any other place because I wasn't sure, like I hadn't read too much about them. I didn't really know too many people that were in those countries. So I just decided to go with the familiar route, right? For ASU, I applied to a couple of schools and I got different admissions. But I chose them because because of many things. So they they have this like executive mentorship program that they connect students to like C-suite executive and not just like motivational speakers or just like professional coaches. These are actually like real life executives that have been working like for long in either their businesses or other companies, and then we match you with them, and like you guys like develop like a one-on-one relationship. And aside that, I just liked um, the experience with speaking to like current students and then the admissions committee, and then they gave me a scholarship as well. So I just thought, okay, this is the place to go. And of course, I cared about it.
Thank
So
you very much. Okay, thank you. Shay, please let's have you answer.
Hello, everyone. Yeah, so my background is in economics. I studied at Bowen University, and while I was in the university, I decided I was only going to work for 2 years, then I'd go for my master's, which is exactly what I did. So I prepared in my mind that this was what was going to happen, and I started sending applications sometime around a year before I was going to go, right? So it was mostly because I wasn't getting the kind of jobs I wanted to get. For example, I want to work in business consulting, but based on my background, it seemed like everybody was studying economics. So the market was really saturated with the kind of opportunities I could possibly get. Right, everybody. To me, it felt like everybody was studying economics. So I felt that studying a master's program, specifically in my program, would help me to set myself apart and also to make me more knowledgeable and make me more marketable to the field I want to focus on. So that was really why I decided to go for my master's program. Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Okay. So the next question I want to ask is, you know how it can be quite financial consuming. It consumes finance to further your education.
Yeah.
Especially, I know for MBA, I know for even doing your ACCA or ICANN, you have spend money. So how did you finance your education, or how are you financing your education for those who are just starting there? Bisaya, let's start with you.
Okay, so there are different ways of there are different ways to finance education, scholarship, fellowships, loan applications. One thing that I would advise is if you are applying to a particular school, you should network with the people that the current students in the school, because there are opportunities that you may not know about that are internal, right, and that you can take advantage of. So, but for me, I got a scholarship from my school, and like that's how I'm financing my education. But then, for like some other schools, they offer like this. Okay, so there are this kind of fellowships that there's 40 fellowship, there's 2 Gold consortium. There are different kinds of fellowship that people can actually like research on. So funding is not really an issue. Like, to be honest, like I know people like look at it and they're like it's a lot of money and all that. But when you start working, if you get a loan, you can easily offset it. So I don't think that should be a barrier to getting your education.
Okay, thank you very much. Lighton, please, how did you finance your certification program?
Okay, so I started when I was already working, and I basically used my salary. So I think I used my salary. I think I used my salary to fund my education. So I already knew this was what I wanted to do, and I knew the cost, right? So I was able to plan myself accordingly to what I was getting from work. So, so it's basically from my salary. Yeah, nobody gives you scholarship for ICA. Okay, except you finish the first class though. If you finish the first class, I know they give but I didn't. I finished with 2-1, so I didn't get the scholarship. So I used my salary.
Okay. So financing your certification program from your salary, did it have any impact on your general standard of living?
Of course.
What did it do to
Of course,
did it
I
affect your
needed to.
baby girl lifestyle?
Definitely. Definitely. You have to pay for classes, you have to pay for books, materials, the exam, then God now, let me not say the devil, you don't now pass. I was sitting, you have to retake the paper. I know when you're retaking a paper, it's more expensive than maybe when you do it together. There's way I can doesn't do like per paper like PCC. So when you're maybe doing 4 courses, yeah, it's cheaper than when you're writing just 1 course. So if maybe you wrote 3 courses and then you think, oh, I'll get everything and you fail one, I have to retake. I rewrote one paper like 4 times. That was the paper that gave me the like everything choked my neck. Professional speed, SFM. So you can imagine writing, paying like for something thousand and for something thousand, and then you might have to buy textbooks or take classes again and again if you feel like you've not really grasped the course. So yeah, of course, but sacrifice. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay, Black you.
Okay. So I've just been nodding my head. Like, it's really interesting listening to every speaker. Like, wow. Um, for me, it was financed by my family, and which I'm grateful for. Actually, I think I actually always wanted to get a scholarship. I finally got a part scholarship. My school gave me a part scholarship. I think Fisara was right. If you know what goes on internally, it kind of helps. Like, to apparently, I was the first person to apply from Nigeria, and my result was good. And I was an early applicant, so they gave me a part scholarship for those three factors. And yeah, my master's dream was financed by my family. God bless them, actually. Now that I'm thinking about it. And then it was also basically like, for me it was literally favor. I know, like, sometimes I say it was financed by my family, and then I like, oh, but they should actually finance my master's, is normal. But it wasn't always like that. I remember in 2014 I wanted to go for a master's program. My father said, no, you're not going. Like, just go and work a while, because yeah, he wasn't ready to finance it then. But like this 2017, God did it. Like, so in the end, it was like it was still God's favor, just that it was financed by my family, and then I got a part scholarship. Yeah.
Okay, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Shay, please share with us how you finance your education.
Yeah, so for me, I initially started the whole processing by myself. So I was funding my IELTS, GRE, and all that by myself, and the whole application process. Because I initially wanted to go to Canada, but that didn't work out. So I moved to Germany because my cousin suggested it. Yeah, so I think after the whole processing and them realizing that I was serious about it, then my family decided, okay, we're going to pay for your blocked account, because that's what works here in Germany. We don't pay tuition, we pay administrative fees every semester, which is like 400 euros or so per semester, right? But you're expected to show a blocked account. It's currently like 10,000 euros. So you're supposed to pay that. You're supposed to pay that amount of money into a blocked account. So my family, by the grace of God, were able to pay that money into a blocked account, and that was what I used. But when I then got here, I had to look for a job, and yeah, so I got funding from my family and also by myself by working here in Germany.
Okay, so in Germany, are there scholarship opportunities like you have in the US and Canada?
Yes, there are, but I'm sure it's not comparable to the one in the US, because again, because there are no tuition fees, the fees are not really low. For example, I recently just applied for a graduation grant, and it's just 400 euros a month for 6 months, compared to maybe having to pay half of your tuition for 1 year in US or in the UK, for example. So it's really not the same. You get money, but you wouldn't get a substantial amount of money, but it helps anyway. So yeah.
All right. Thank you for that. Okay, so I'll move on to the next question I want to ask. So really, do you think it's important to actually pursue further education? Or what's the importance to you? Lighton, let's start with you. Do you think it's important maybe to pursue your MBA program, MSc, PhD, or even professional certification?
Okay, I think it is important if your space or your career field requires it. Like everybody has spoken, wanted to gain more knowledge, more expertise on something. So, because right now the world is very, very competitive. Yes, there's your skill set and everything, but sometimes you already have, like, maybe you have a level playing field, you have skill set with other people, and you need something to give you that extra advantage. Yeah. So yes, advancing your education will definitely give you that, because if you already have what someone else has, which is maybe okay, you can do X, Y, Z, you have your technical skills and you have your soft skills, but there's something extra. And education also gives you that different experience, even just outside, maybe learning stuff, but people you get to meet, especially for those that do masters, the networking, even with professional certification, you get to, go for lectures, meet people, and then even learn, like, even though I did accounting, writing I can expose me to a lot more things than I did when I was in school, right? That I wasn't really taught, or maybe we didn't really scratch, like we only scratched the surface, we didn't really go deep into it. But writing I can give me a deeper knowledge of those things, and it also help you on your job when you're trying to maybe change jobs or something. So I believe advancing your education rather, is very important if it's required in your field and you want to elevate yourself. I think it's important.
Thank you. Thank you. Blessing, can you touch on that?
Yes, I can. Thank you. I think I really liked what Toby said. Part of meeting people. I think that was it for me. So to answer the question, I would say yes, it is important to further your education. But yet I'm biased. I mean, I did the same, so I'm going to tell you yes, you should do the same. But in the end, it boils down to an individual, like what your goals are. Like Fisayo had to dust her journal to realize that she had an MBA dream. So what are your goals in terms of your career, your life, and your purpose? That will determine whether you should actually further your education, do a master's, or just like go for like a professional certification, or basically work to gain the experience. Um, for me, it has helped me a lot, and I would advise anyone that wants to achieve a dream, or has a goal that was set once upon a time in their life, to actually further their education or do a certification, because the part of the people you get to meet might be very, for me, that'll be very instrumental to the next phase of my life that I'm in. So yeah, I'm grateful for it. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
No.
Okay, so Shay, I'm going to ask you that same question, but I think I just mentioned something on the chat box. Like, is there a specific time to further your education? I'd like you to answer that question and then merge this other question too.
Okay. Which one should I start with?
If it's important, is it important first of all? And then when is the right time to go about it?
Yeah, so just like Olaito and Blessing have said, like, it's important because it just gives you an edge compared to every other person who has a bachelor's, because everybody has a bachelor's now. I have I have an MSc compared to every other person who is speaking here. I think Blessing and Fisayo both have an MBA, which I would say is maybe a little bit higher than an MSc, right? But you get to meet people from different walks of life. For example, I study in Germany and I'm meeting people from Pakistan, India, Americans, British, like, they have different views on different things. So you learn about other people's cultures. You also learn a foreign language. You learn German, gives you an edge in the job market. The kind of way the professors teach you is completely different from Nigeria. I'm not even going to lie about that. And you can ask questions without being scared. They answer your question. No question is stupid. What else? You also get to ask them questions about maybe future plans or future goals, if a course is good for you or not. So I would really suggest that anyone who is interested on this call should go ahead and pursue a master's program or an MBA, as the case may be.
But you would strongly advise we do it abroad, right?
Definitely. Definitely. I had the option to go to Ghana for my master's, but I just thought to myself, what is the difference? Well, there's a difference between Ghana and Nigeria, but I just thought to myself that you studied economics in Nigeria. What has it done for you? So I might as well just go to a much more developed country to do that. So definitely a much more developed country than Nigeria, because it opens your mind to different things that you normally would not know had you not studied in this said country. So yes, definitely in a foreign country. Yes.
Okay, so to you, is there a right time to further your education?
No. There is there is no right time. Because I don't believe there is an age limit to what you can achieve in this life. People achieve things at 65, 60. So if you say, okay, you're too old to study in a class because there are 20 somethings in the class, then you're just putting yourself at a disadvantage, because what gives you the idea that you can't maybe compete with these people, or maybe you even know more things than them, or you can even teach them something that they themselves do not know. So there's no age limit, there's no right time. What is important, I think, is, I know finances is a factor that most people consider when it comes to furthering their education, but with adequate timing, I think it's very possible. So yeah, there's no right.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Okay, so Fisayo, do you think it's important for people to further their education, especially women? And is there a particular time people should do that, or anything about it?
Thank you. Not to sound repetitive, I think all the other speakers have done justice to the question. Yes, it's very important for a woman to further her education. I know there's no right time. Like, I guess I want to say, when you wake up, it's your morning every day. Anytime you realize that you have a knowledge gap or you need to reach out for something, you can always do it. So there's no right time, there's no set time. Whenever you decide to do it, you should do it. Another important thing I would like to add is that education is actually an equalizer, right? It gives you power. Knowledge is power, they say, and it gives you a seat at the table. There are some decisions and opportunities that are only available to you at a certain level of education. So it's very important for women to get like more education. And another thing is that it gives you it's important to close the inequality gap, right? In the corporate world that is largely dominated by the male figure. So it gives women the opportunity to actually like equalize, right, and like do more things in the corporate sphere.
Okay, thank you. Well, thank you. There's something you mentioned about the male. So I did a research. Actually, it shows that women actually further their education more than men. However, they don't get to go further in their career. I think that would be a talk for another time. But really, it's not like they don't study, they don't further their education. It's just that I don't know what keeps holding us back from advancing in our careers. So thank you very much for mentioning that. Okay, so Lisa, I'm still going to ask you this. In your study, you already started studying. Are there, before you embarked on your MBA journey, were there challenges you foresaw that you would encounter? And then now that you have started your journey, did you encounter those challenges you foresaw, or they're just different challenges you're experiencing now?
Okay. So I thought before doing my program, I thought I'll have challenges with funding. I thought I'll have challenges with actually settling down and understanding the system. What I've come to meet, I have no challenges with funding, but I find that there are many more things, such as like a cultural shift. There are different people here, like Shay was saying, there are different people that have different cultures and backgrounds, that have different ideals, right? That are different from what you are used to as a Nigerian. And you have to work with these people, you have to live with these people, you have to do things with them. You can't sideline them or be a loner. It doesn't help anybody. So you have to deal with that. Another thing is like time management. There's so much that you have to do in terms of coursework, in terms of like group activity, or like just general things that happen in your life. So time management, I say, is a challenge. No, it's not a challenge. I'm working on it. I'm working on it, right? But for some other people, it could be balancing like family. There's some people that have kids in the program, they're married, they're running businesses. That is a challenge. Language barrier. That one was actually something for me because like starting my program initially, I'd admit that I didn't really used to hear like what the professors used to say or the students like I can't hear you and they can't hear me too. When you speak, they say, "Oh, can you repeat yourself?" I will, repeat myself again. But yeah, that was like, a challenge. It's not really a challenge for everyone, but for me, it was something that I had to consciously train my ear to hear. So yeah, I hope I answered your question.
Okay. Okay, thank you very much. Please, my parents this is Nigeria. Forgive us.
No problem.
So it's going to be restored shortly. Just give me a moment. But we'll continue without my video though. Those challenges.
Yeah, thank you. So, the said first what was the language challenge. Although my program was in English, which was good, which I wanted to state just outline that there are programs here in France, international business schools that are in English, like HEC, ESEG, even INSEAD. Programs are in English, so in case anyone was wondering. So my own program was in English, but France is in French. France is in French. So the language barrier, when I came in, but luckily my brother can pick me from the airport, but by the time I came out, all I understood was bonjour. So for like 1 year straight, I was just sitting in conversations as if I did not know how to talk, like as if I was mute, because I needed to first understand what they were saying. I didn't know what like when the French we learned in school, that was not French. That was just like they were just parting us. Here they rap the French, like they just you're like, please, I'm Nigerian. I just came here to study. Can you be calming down, please? Like, so for me, it was a shock. But I think one thing my brother says is like nothing is a problem until you find a solution to it. So I mentally determined to hear the language, understand what was being said, and also respond. Like, so I learned to speak it also. I'm still learning to speak French. And French, even for the French is hard. So the language is in stages. But that I made a mental decision to actually live in like even with the language. The second one was the code. Oh, I was not ready for the code. Like I wasn't ready for the code because sincerely it was something to get used to. It was a challenge that I had to get used to. But the solution was to get it. And when the snow came, France was not ready for snow, so we had the classes stopped. So everybody was just chilling at home. But I mean, that challenge could also be overcome. And then the third one for me was having been away from home, like the homesickness every now and then, the shocks of for lunch you don't eat proper food, eat salads or you eat sandwich. I'm like, why eating sandwich? It's lunch, and it's lunch. But like that's it, yeah. So it was the homesickness. Some days I just wake up and I'm like, I feel like eating roasted corn. And you get like, so for me, it was all of that. But yeah, I think the solution to that was I found there's a Nigerian community here in France. You have African kitchen in Paris. There are people that cook Nigerian food. I've met a lot of Nigerians here. Like, it's amazing. So yeah, so the cold, the language, the homesickness. We're still on it. We're still on the homesick sickness one. One day it will pass. But today is not that day. But one day, surely it will pass. So yeah. There were limitations, but God is faithful. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Shay, what challenges did you experience, or are you still experiencing, and how did you overcome those challenges?
Okay, so the first one for me is the language. Just like they
Okay.
speak French in France, they speak German in Germany. So my program is in English, yeah, but to actually interact with people, to buy things, to ask questions, you have to speak German, even if it's just the basic one. Although the basic one would not take you very far, right? But yeah, the language was the first one. But I took it upon myself. I took a semester break to learn the language, so to take the intensive classes. So that really helped me a lot. What other thing? Another thing is, yeah, I'm still homesick. I miss Owambe's and native food, all that good stuff. um, yeah, but again, the African stores almost everywhere in most cities, so you can always get your plantain or any other thing you'd want to make them for yourself at home. You can order for food online. There's this woman on Instagram. You can ship food from Berlin down to wherever you are, DHL, and you get it frozen. So it's easy. Life is good. We're happy. Yeah.
Thank you very much. Okay. Right on. So I want to ask, like, I know you said you started your certification program while you were still working, right? So I want
Yes.
to ask, how did you marry your job and studying for your certification program? What were the challenges you experienced, and what strategies did you use to overcome those?
Of course. Okay. So time management, definitely work stress. I needed to combine working and reading, going to classes and everything. Okay, one of the things I did was I tried to stay close to work. So before I was staying far from work, I worked at Surulere and I was living at Ojota. Who was that? Okay, Beggar. Sorry, Beggar. Yeah. And then my study center was at Costain. And I was like, no, I can't do this. I was always stressed out, After work, weekend, I had to go from Beggar to Costain, back to Beggar, then go to work again during the week. So I decided to move out. I stay with my uncle, decided to stay by myself, close to my office is just like 5 minutes away from my house. I won't even say 10 minutes away from my house by car. And then my study center was at Costain, so it was close, it's still within Surulere. So that helped me a lot. So I could just easily, move from class to my house and back. That was really helpful. And then the reading, I had to plan myself. It wasn't easy, to be honest. It wasn't easy. Wake up at night. I was trying to be like Tayo, trying to read. But I had to plan myself, my time management skills and all that. It wasn't easy, but praise the Lord. I'm here, I'm chattered after how many years? But that was it, shy. It wasn't easy, but I was able to overcome. I'm not the most disciplined person, so it was really tough. I can be really distracted or just like to be lazy. So I needed to put in a lot of effort.
Mm,
Alarms, You know it is now.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So I was going to ask about finance, but I see that in the course of me asking how you financed your education, especially Fisaya touched on so many aspects in terms of scholarships, in terms of loan, fellowships, and all that. So I think basically those are covered. But I want to ask, as per certifications, are there funding opportunities in that area? Do you know? If you don't know, we can move
Yeah.
on.
No, for ICANN, I mentioned it that if you finish with the first class, I think it's open to all schools. I don't know. I went to Covenant University and I remember my classmate that finished the first class. If you do it within, I think the year you finish or so, I'm sure, and you write all the papers within a year, you get scholarship, so you don't pay anything. Yeah, I
Mm,
can't fund that for you. Yes, but you have to write within that year. I think you have to write within a year or write the paper together. But I'm very sure if you finish the first class, you have scholarship. But I think there are conditions to it. Maybe you must write immediately after school, and then you must write. You cannot split the papers. So if you're writing like, because there are three stages, you start with from the second stage. So you probably have to write. There are six papers. You write six papers together. You pass everything, and then write professional. So I'm not really sure of the conditions like that. I can't really remember, but I'm sure for first class students you have scholarship, but the conditions I cannot remember. Yeah, I think there's a time frame to it, but I'm very sure it finished the first class. As at then, oh, maybe I don't know if things have changed, Nigeria, but as at then, I think for those that work with, yeah, for those that work with audit firms, you get sponsored. I think, yeah, those are what audit
okay.
firms get sponsored. So, and some organizations also do. My organization doesn't do that, but I think some organizations do. Once you pass, you get a rebate or you get something, and yeah, I think some organizations do that. So, but where I work, you don't do that. The only thing they do for you is once you're chartered, you get promoted. So, they don't pay for your exams or anything. I think some organizations pay for your exams. Once you pass, they give you back the money.
Okay. I see that Ogo mentioned something in the chat box. Thank you, Ogo, for that.
Yeah, audit.
Yeah. Thank you. Let's move to the next question. So the next question is in line with the opportunities, career advancement opportunities. So let's say you have finished your MBA program already. So I want to ask, in what way did the MBA program help in advancing your career? Was it actually worth it, or is just the hype? Is the hype about MBA worth it?
So yes, the hype is actually worth it. It is worth it. The salary basically like margin increases a lot for an MBA graduate. So my MBA, I see it as an investment. When I start making all the money out of it, I'll go back and withdraw from it. For me, the MBA, I remember stating, was a career transition decision. I wanted to basically work with my passion for writing, communications, and digital media. Tayo's laughing forex. Okay. so, so for me, the MBA helped me with the courage to achieve that. So because I wasn't like limited to a particular career path anymore. The MBA was like I had courses in finance, accounting, economics, and then back to innovation management, and then back to entrepreneurial management, and then back to strategic management and consulting. So it was a like they put everything in one. I think Fisara can attest to that, and then in like one basket, so you have a selection of. So my mind expanded. My mind literally expanded, and then when I was working on my business plan during the MBA, because there was a class on business plan, and also I had a career mentor, so I basically charted a different career path from doing the MBA, and it was in digital media consulting. So the MBA has been like a springboard, like a launch for me into this new career. So imagine leaving audit and going directly into digital media consulting. So, and then a bit of communication. So only a career coach could do that for me. And I met my career coach during my MBA program. So currently, like auto entrepreneur. They call it so basically it's like an self-employed, and I offer digital media consulting. Because of the courage I got from doing an MBA, I could easily determine this industry is what I want to eventually further my career in. So able to achieve working with them during the course of my internship. MBA, two major aspects to it. Is either you continue with the career path you had, and then you basically become an executive in a company, and you're into being a business professional by starting your own, what like basically launching out and becoming your own boss, as it were, like becoming a business executive on your own. So I chose the second part of becoming a business executive on my own, like starting a company and working in a new industry. So yeah, I have colleagues from the MBA that continued in their career path, like those that were basically working as strategy consultants, and then they have like the whole salary increase that they're already benefiting from. Mine, I'm doing like the long run, because starting a business, you have to go through the ropes, like so. But so far, it was the MBA that helped me achieve that. So yes, an MBA. The hype is correct. It's hyped, but yeah, it's the real deal. If you want to do an MBA, you should. It helps a lot.
Okay, thank you very much. Okay, so like,
You're welcome.
how has being chartered helped your career? And would you advise people, especially in accounting, would you advise them to go for the certification?
Okay, so as I said, where I work, getting my ICANN got me a promotion. So that one has helped my career, at least that helped my pocket. So okay, so that aside, then I've been working for 5 years now. So, and being an accountant or in the finance field, there's a level you get to where when you're applying for jobs, you just will be shooting yourself in the leg if you don't have some things in place, like your ICANN. Like it's like job ads. Once you see anything that's to do with accounting or finance, you always see ICANN, ACCA, CFA. So it's like a given. You cannot. I don't know how you're going to do it, especially if you're looking for maybe more like a managerial position, or something senior. Yes, having a certification like ICANN or ACCA, CFA, if you're in finance accounting space, is very, very important. So far I've been I'm trying to get another job and move my career forward. And having an ICANN has given me that boost to apply for jobs that I'll probably not want to apply for before, because I didn't have my ICANN then. But now that I have it, it's like, oh yes, once you see the job and you say ICANN, you apply with confidence because you know you have it. Unlike before, where you're about to have it or you've not even started and you start saying stories. So yes, that has really helped me so far.
Hi, Betty, you're muted.
Okay, Chi.
Hello,
Maybe light issue.
can you hear me?
Hello.
Yes,
Yeah,
we
did you
can
hear
hear you.
me? Did
Yes, I
everybody
did.
hear me?
Yes,
Yes,
I did.
too.
So,
Okay, so let me move to Fisayo. So Fisayo, I know you're just starting your MBA program, but what were the opportunities you thought about or you knew you could get through MBA? And do you think now that you've started, do you think it's looking like it's going to pay off eventually?
Okay, so for me, it's the exposure, right? Exposure to different kinds of industries and different types of people. And I'm seeing that already. Um, I firmly believe that if you're not exposed to something, if you don't know what's possible, you can't achieve it, right? So for me, it has just been like an eye opener to see what's even possible in this field, what people are doing. You get to read a lot of case studies, and you get to do a lot of practice and work with people, and then you see different experiences. So that's just like the summary of all the opportunities that this has opened up to me so far, and there's more to come, definitely.
Okay, so I want to ask you something else. So I know that you are concentrating in entrepreneurship. Now I want to ask, was it Gracie Abbey that made you just focus on that, or before you started that, you had in mind to go into entrepreneurship?
Okay, so it wasn't my business that motivated me to study and to concentrate in entrepreneurship. For me, I'm looking further than the business that I started in Nigeria. I think I don't think I wasn't even doing business. We were just playing, right? So for me, that was not the like wasn't the motivating factor. Entrepreneurship for me, I see that as something I want to do in the long run. It's not, except the Lord says so, but it's not something that I want to venture in like right after my MBA. Did I answer your question?
Yeah, it is. Thank you. Okay, so Shay, your MSc program, I know you're wrapping up, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so has it started paying off? Have you started seeing the dividend of studying for that? Or what opportunities do you see?
Okay, so because I knew I was going to graduate soon, I started sending applications out before then. So that was how I got my current job. So my current job now is in investor relations in a biotech company. I normally would not have even thought about sending out an application to a biotech company. So I'm learning more about that field and also hands-on experience in investment, how to interact with investors and all that, and other related things, right? Even though it's not directly related to what I studied, it's kind of a little bit attached to it, right? And I have a 1-year contract, so I would have that experience. That would also help me to maybe get a job in maybe as a business analyst, for example, or something else that's closely related to that. But I would say if for anybody who wants to come to Germany, studying the language is also going to help you a lot, because then if you're working in a corporate field or corporate environment in Germany, wherever, except if you're working in IT, of course, that maybe you don't need to talk to people a lot. But if you're studying something like finance or economics, you really need to speak to people, and you might end up interacting with people who don't even speak any English at all.
Wow.
And it's going to be
Serious.
yes, and it's going to be a requirement that maybe if you are responsible for maybe that task or that job, that you need to speak to these people. So aside from the MSc, you should also try to learn the language of whichever country it is that you're studying in, because then you have a wide range of opportunities that you can apply to and be considered for. Because I remember when I first got here, I applied for a job and they did not say I did not qualify. I was looking for a student job at the time. They only just told me, well, they are looking for somebody who can speak German, and it doesn't look like I can speak German. So because of that, they are not going to employ me. So aside from the MSc, I'll say the language is also important, and that has been to my advantage so far. So yes.
Okay, thank you very much. Okay, so I want us to talk about, okay, so you know that sometimes people just have maybe, should I say, wishful thinking, Like you say, oh, I want to further my education. I want to take up this certification. I want to do this. I want to do that. And then, time keeps ticking, and it's never actualized. Now, I want each and every one of you to maybe like touch on strategies, practical strategies that people can adopt to help ensure that they don't just have that as a thought, is actually actualizable. And this, when you do this, you can achieve this. So if there are anything you practiced before you actually got into what you're doing now that you can share with people, I'd like us to have that. Let's start with you.
Thank you, Ogechi. So for me, it was a case of I had the dream of doing an MBA, and then I wrote it down. And when the time was right for when the career distress happened, I began to turn it by faith. I literally I literally did I pulled a faith string, if I can use that expression. If I can use the expression, it was a case of Lord, you don't want me here where I don't enjoy the work, and if I don't enjoy the work, I don't believe I'm giving my best on the job. This is me personally. Like, that's why I kind of, my next career path, I'm concentrating on passion work, because I need to, so that I can give my best. And I realized that, Lord, me not giving my best here is not glorifying you. Like, you know how the scripture says on First Corinthians 10:31, if you eat or you drink or whatever you do all to the glory of God. So I said, this work I'm doing, me not being passionate about is not letting me give my best. So I don't believe it's glorifying you, Lord. And then that's when the faith walk started. Like I said, the MBA program will be a career transition. It will help me to glorify you when I work. And then I prayed towards it. I set the goals of applying, and then I basically like walked my faith. Because I remember my father did not want to pay for a master's program in 2014. So how is it that 2017 things changed? It was prayer that changed the things. And then I got a part scholarship this time around, and doors just started opening. Like, I never thought of France. I was going to maybe go to the UK, but then my brother had gone ahead in France. Like, so I would like to say, don't wishfully think towards furthering education or doing a professional certification. Like, do a faith walk, like literally walk your faith and walk, WALK, your goals in faith, by faith. And I was talking to a friend. She got a scholarship, a total scholarship, study in France, in HEC Paris. They paid for her, even up to her Uber. They can pick her from the airport. And how did she get the scholarship? Someone sent her the link, and then she applied on the last day. And then, like, out of the number of people that applied, she was one of the 10 persons that got selected. She did the work of doing a presentation, of studying for the exam and everything, doing the application. But in the end, it was favor. It was favor. So write it down. That's what I did. Write it down, and then when the time is right, when you feel a pressing in your heart, when you feel a leading, begin to pray towards it. Begin to faith the walk. Begin to just call for help. Like, Lord Jesus, like, whoever it is, whether it's a scholarship or it's family funded, or you need me to really earn enough money to do a financial budget, because I know you can also finance your education by giving yourself a 2 years plan to save towards it. You can work with a finance coach to achieve that, make it an educational goal, put money aside, and then get a part scholarship, apply for a scholarship, apply for a scholarship. You might be my friend that Total just funds, and Total scholarship is coming up next in March next year. It's only open for 2 weeks. So begin to just come out of the wishful bed and begin to work towards it, and have faith, and then work towards it, and doors will open for you. Like, it's not impossible. Doors will open for you, and you'll be amazed like the way the doors open. So yeah, all things are possible. Just yes, believe, and it will work. It might sound cliche, but it's not. Like believe, and it will work.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Okay, Isaiah, could you share with us what practical steps people can use to actualize their goals?
Um, in addition to what Blessing has said, I second everything that she said. And I think it's also important to have like an accountability partner or like a group of people that are also working towards achieving your goal. My pastor also, you don't walk alone, right? You have to find your own like people who will keep like encouraging you and who you would also like keep encouraging. So I think that helps. That helped me finding people who also wanted to take the MBA and were looking out for like writing applications, seeking funding, trying to search out new career opportunities. All of that helped me to like stay on track.
Thank you very much. Lighton, please can we have you?
Okay, so I'll say take the first step or start small. Okay, because my own is certification. Okay, even if it's masters or MBA, once it's a goal for you, okay, this is what I want to do. Instead of just wishfully thinking about it, do your research. What do I need to get this up and running? What are the things to do? Like everybody has said, get information and then just start something. If you need to apply, apply. If you need to register for the course or the certification, register. I think that's the first step. And most times once you take that first step, the other things you need to do probably it would be easier than just saying, oh, I want to do this, I want to do this, and then you don't take the step to do it. So I believe that taking that first step, doing your research, know what you want to do, exactly the action points you need to, the steps you need to take. I think that's the first. Everybody has talked about faith, talking about network, your family, your friends. So I think taking the first step is very important. Knowing what I want to do, I need to register for that certification, apply for that MBA or masters, and see where the rest of it.
Thank you very
That's my
much.
advice.
Yeah. Okay, so Shay, do you have anything to add to that?
No, I think they've said everything that you could possibly need. I just want to add that you should also have a look at the requirements, like the requirements for whatever program that you want to study, and do it in bits, depending on how much time you have, how much free time you have, or how much money you have at the moment. So if it's IELTS you want to write it maybe now. It's valid for 2 years anyway. If it's GMAT you want to write it. It's valid for 5 years anyway. So then it accumulates over time, and then you can add other documents that you need, your transcript, sort it out, and just apply. Yeah. There's really nothing much to add anymore because they mentioned everything.
Okay, thank you very much. Lastly, I want us to talk about people who feel limited in the case of people who are married, who feel like, oh, they don't have so much time. Their husband requires so much of them, their children require so much of them. And people perhaps are in a fast-paced industry who feel like, oh, my job requires 100% of my time. I don't know how to go about this. And then because of all these circumstances, they don't seem to get ahead in terms of furthering their education, even though it's a dream of theirs. They don't get a chance to go ahead with that. So what kind of advice could you give to such people? Let's start with you on that. Shay, did you get my question?
I got, yes, I got your question. I didn't hear my name. That's why.
Oh, okay.
I'm not married, so I'm probably not in the best place to give advice in this regard.
Okay.
Yeah, but I would say what I think would be appropriate would be to have a supportive partner. That would be one important thing, right? A partner who knows about your career intentions and knows, okay, this is what you actually want to achieve, your purpose and all that, and is willing to help you run with it. That's what I would think is applicable in this case. Otherwise, I don't have any other advice.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Mr. Can we have you share if you have any advice?
I think your question is in two phases. Are you specifically targeting them at people who are married, or you're just saying generally advice to women?
Not just people who are married. So people who are married, people who are in a fast-paced career sector, people who perhaps think because they don't have the funds or sponsorship at the moment, they feel discouraged. So it's not just the married ones. Generally, people who feel like they cannot pursue this goal as a result of whatever circumstances surrounding them at that time.
Okay, I think it's similar to the last question. It's similar to my answer to the last question. You just need to get a support system. You need to get people that you are accountable to, right? You once you have your goal, or first of all, like Toby said, have a goal. Don't have it. Know what you really are in it for. If you do not have a goal, you end up nowhere, right? So you need to like look at what you're planning, what you're targeting, start speaking to people who are already doing what you plan to do, right? Get a good support system for yourself. Look for people with similar dreams, people that you can share your joys and your trials with. In terms of funding, I've answered that question. There's so many opportunities available. Just speak to the people who are actually doing those things that you want. There are opportunities for connection as well, because you could be asking, where do I find this? It's LinkedIn. Just type the career sector or the school or whatever and the location. You find people, and when you connect with them, don't just add them. Drop a note. Hi, XXS. I'm very excited to be connecting with you. I am interested in doing this these days. Would you have some time to discuss with me? Things like that. Just like try to like connect with people and reach out and be in the spaces of people, like where they're having events, that people who you're looking at being in their space, right? Where they're having like events, like try to join those events. If they're paid events, try to join them. For me, I had some sort of like MBA coaching program before my program actually started, right? So my sister was an educational consulting firm. It's called Titanal Consulting, right? So you have like one-on-one programs, or you have like cohort-based programs where like people who have similar ideals are together. So that kind of helps you to overcome the challenges together, right? You can see that people are working towards the same goal, and when people keep achieving things, you're also encouraged, you're also motivated. So I think that's the main thing, right? What hinders people is really the inability to carry on because of their lack of confidence. So you need to continuously work on being confident, knowing that if you fail at something, you can always do it again. That scripture that says like the righteous falls how many times? 7 times, you still rise. So like there's so many things that you can keep doing. So just like surround yourself with positive people that are also like going forward. Yeah.
Thank you very much. Okay, so we've come to the end of the questions I have for us to discuss. So before going to Q&A, let me just state this first. If you have any questions, you can just type it in the chat box. I just need to use 5 minutes to do that. So before we wrap up, I want to know, do you have final words? Do you have any other thing you want to add to this conversation? Blessing, do you?
Thank you, Ogechi. It was like, yeah, I really, like, even me, I'm learning. So, for me, I would just like to add, the question of what do you want to do, after you further your education or after you get that professional certification. Like, what is the end goal? Like, does it glorify God? Because I believe, when you're involving God in your plans, you need to ensure that it's also in line with His purpose for your life. So, yeah, and then He will give us the desires of our hearts. So just go for it. Walk your faith, and believe me, all things are possible. So, and then a support system is really important. Like, my family was a strong support system in achieving my MBA dream. So that's really important. And I think the third one is explore countries like Germany, France, countries in Europe, because I know Nigerians were used to going to the UK only, like within Europe, but explore countries where you can have the opportunity to learn another language. It's going to be a barrier, but you can overcome. I mean, there's a community of Nigerians waiting for you in any country you choose, believe me. So don't be afraid to launch into other into other countries, other territories. And thank you so much. It has been a pleasure
Thank
listening
you very
and
much.
speaking. Thank you.
Thank you. Shay, do you have anything you want to final word? Do you?
Just to appreciate everyone who took out time to come here. What I'm going to say is going to be very similar to what Blessing has said, so there's no need to repeat anymore. So yeah.
Okay. Does anybody have anything contrary to what different from what Blessing has said? Rather, no. Okay. Thank you very much. Are there any questions? So if you have a question, I think nobody is typing in question. If you have a question, sorry, hold on. Okay, there are no questions from here. Time to assume that we touched on everything. But before then, I'm just going to do like a recap of some of the key things that. Okay, somebody has a question. Please hold on. Okay, so it says, what did you wish you knew before? So I'm assuming before you started your program, what did you wish you knew before you started your program? Fisaya, can you share with us?
So for me, I have a hack. You see that question? I checked it like 100 times before starting my aim. So all the things that people wished they knew, I gathered all the experiences together and I knew it.
Nice.
I knew it. So I always like checking, okay, what did you wish? Like I checked those blogs, like LinkedIn articles, things, just search what I wish I knew. You know how you search what I wish I knew before I enter a relationship or before I started getting married or something. So first started getting married before I got married, things like that. So I don't think there's anything that's like entirely like new for me. I don't think there's anything that took me like that was like a total shock. I knew I was expecting it. Maybe it's my reaction to it that was just not the way I planned, but yeah, that's the answer for me.
Thank you.
No, I don't think so. I don't think so. I think it also even opens you up to like opportunities. So the question is, do you think going to school affects you? No, I don't think so. I think it even gives you like you meet more people. Like you have a different idea of how different men treat people, right? So no, I don't think it's not even a barrier. In fact, it's a stepping stone.
Nice, nice. Okay. Lighton, do you have anything you want to add to that?
Would I say was there anything I wished I knew? Honestly. Okay, maybe if I had known on time that all these firms would pay for all my exams, maybe I would have tried my possible best to get in by force by fire. Maybe that's maybe I would have like really put it like made it a very serious matter. But maybe, but there was really nothing. Yeah. And I
Thank
didn't
you
think
very
I was
much.
going to write some paper 4 times. Maybe that one, so I didn't know.
I didn't get that, sorry.
I said I never thought I'd write one paper 4 times.
Okay.
That came as a big shock. So,
Okay.
yeah.
But yeah, talking about that, did it affect your self-esteem? What did it
Yeah,
do?
indeed. Definitely. Like all my life, I've never written an exam twice. Or I won't say I'm a smart kid, but I just always maybe like average and above average. But I can't just like threw me off. Like I was just surprised, like why am I writing paper? And okay, there's an interesting story. So when I was writing my intermediate, there's this okay, so in ICANN there are two courses that are like the devilish course, PM and SFM. So PM is like the younger brother of SFM. PM is in intermediate stage. So when I was writing PM, I wrote it the first time, I didn't pass. I was like, okay. I wrote it the second time, and then after the exam, I'm like, Toby, what did you just do? And coming out of the exam, there was a so we write together. So professional and the intermediate write the exams together in the same hall. And then coming out, a lady was like, that SFM was good. Thank God. That PM, I wrote it 4 times. And in my mind, I'm like, no, I can't write any paper 4 times. Like, it's not possible. Why would I write the paper 4 times? And I was like, God, no, I can't write the paper 4 times. And my result came out, I passed. I'm like, thank God. That was my story. And then professional came, I passed my other 4 papers. And this SFM, what's the first time? Second time. Third time, I'm like, wait, oh, hey God, I didn't even understand. I think I wrote it 5 times. It was the fifth time I passed, and it wasn't fun. I didn't like asking me how was your exam because I don't ask me. Just let me see my result. If after result, if I did not tell you I passed, don't come and ask me that whether I passed or not. Like it was really like I cried. I just told God, see, I have to pass the paper because I don't understand why I want paper for 2 years. But at the end of the day, and the funny thing is the last time the last one I wrote, like after writing that paper, I knew that I was going to pass that paper. You know when you write a paper, I wrote it, like I understood it. I'm just grateful to God, honestly. Yeah, I'm just grateful to God. But yeah,
How did you overcome the negative effect it had on you?
okay. One thing I realized, okay, the funny thing is that I'm kind of afraid of failure. Like even when I wanted to write ICANN, I've always said bad things about ICANN, hey, this and that and that. And normally I don't like to fail. I don't like the stigma with failure. I would rather be average, you get than fail. So I felt like God actually took me through that experience to make me know that failure doesn't define you. And the people around me were so supportive. Like you would think maybe somebody look down on you and say, are you that you didn't write, that you didn't quickly pass your exam? But to my shock, like people were really encouraging me in my office. Oh, don't worry, you make even when I don't pass next time, don't worry, it's fine. Like I was really surprised, like wow, I thought maybe it was this one I did not pass the exam, but my support system, my friends, my darling friend Ogochukwu, she's on the call. Yeah, she was really supportive, and so friends I have around me, I was shocked. Like failure doesn't define you, and we should make use of the system we have around us. Like there are people that are really, really there for us that can encourage us, and so you won't carry the burden alone. Yeah, I really experienced people in my life's affection during that period. And God also helped me.
Nice. Thank you very much. Okay, so we've come to the end of today's episode. But then I want to just do like a brief recap on the key things that were mentioned here. So on finance, so don't let money stop your goal or your vision of pursuing education, because there are opportunities, funding opportunities in terms of study loans. You can start saving from your salaries, scholarships, fellowships, family. If you have good family support system, you can ask, and who knows, they might finance it. Then one very important point that was raised here is that education gives you a seat at the table. It helps to expose you to different people. It increases your worldview. Don't be a local champion. I like the fact that Sheyi encouraged us to study abroad. Go experience life, go experience how people see things, expand your worldview. Thank you very much for that. It helps you navigate other fields. So Blessing mentioned how MBA helped her move completely into her own field, from what she was used to. So education does that for you. Then another advice that was mentioned here is to write your vision and make it plain. Don't just think about it. Write it, make it visible, where you can see it. Even the Bible says it. Write the vision and make it plain. She encouraged us to commit our ways to God, do a faith walk, and work out your goals. Don't just think about it. Don't just face it. Work towards it. Take the first step. The first step is usually the hardest. So as much as you can, surround yourself with people who would encourage you to take that first step. You might have been crawling, you might have been going slowly, but just move. The key word here is move. Start it, and eventually it's going to come into fruition. Then accountability partners was mentioned here. So you know that sometimes you might want to do things, but on your own, the Bible says it also that one will chase 1,000 and two will chase tens of thousands. So you have support system around you to help you towards actualizing your goal. Then I like the hack that Mr. mentioned about doing the research. What people wish they knew about XYZ. So not just in terms of education, in terms of finances, in terms of marriage, whatever it is that you want to do, just let's try that hack and see how it works. I know it's working for Fisayo, so I believe it's going to work for us. Then what else? Okay, so it says, Blessing raised one very, very, very important question. She said, what is the end result of all this pursuit of academics or your career advancement? What is the end result? Why are you doing this? Is it to glorify God? Now, we believe so much in purpose here in TKIM, and our purpose is only given to us by God. Now, whatever gift we have, whatever thing He has given to us, whatever thing we have now, it is not ours. It has been given to us by God to glorify His name. So as much as we can, let us be those stewards. Let us be vessels with what can be used to reach. And let people be ascribed to God. When people see us, let them see Jesus. And the excellence of what we do bring about souls to God. I think those are the key points I noted. So on that note, and say thank you very much, first of all, to the speakers. I know that the time zone difference might not have worked well, but you took your time to prepare for this. So thank you for honoring our invitation. Thank you very, very much to those who connected to this call today. God bless you. And it is my prayer that everything you have learned today or heard today will help you make that first step. If you've not been encouraged to make the step, everything you've heard today will spur you up to take on that first step and not just thinking or wishing about it. There will be the zeal to do. God will give you the zeal to do all to His glory in Jesus' name.